I chose lunch again over you guys. Sorry. So I put up a poll earlier. I didn't know what to talk about when it came to the NBA. There was a lot of options. There was the Cavs and the Celtics, which came in third place, 17%. Only 11% of you wanted to hear about Chris Cornell and the Supersonics. Where are the music fans? R.I.P. to a legend in Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, Audioslave, Temple of the Dog. Good stuff, man. Spurs fans suing Zaza Pachulia, only 20%, which, to be honest, is the most hilarious of all the stories. And then 52% of you wanted to hear about the Celtics trading the #1 pick, ? So the Celtics are left with what seems like 3 viable options, but one of which is being considered way more than the other 2. And that is actually drafting Markelle Fultz. The Celtics' #1 priority is to take best player available, which I think is Markelle Fultz, and that has nothing to do with the Ball family. Markelle Fultz is the outright consensus #1 pick for the same reason that scouts have consensus outright #1 picks. He is the real deal when it comes to what you want in a point guard. He can score, I think, more effectively than Lonzo Ball, and Lonzo Ball is somebody who is going to get off on getting others theirs, as Chris Broussard put it. So the Celtics kind of do still need, Isaiah Thomas fits that role perfectly at being able to score at will, but they don't need somebody to get Al Horford more involved or Avery Bradley more involved. They kind of need a more dominant, I guess, defensively sound point guard, because what could Isaiah Thomas do on the defensive end? And it crushes me to say it. It crushes me. I wish Isaiah Thomas grew 4 inches over the summer. Actually, that would only make him 6'1". It wouldn't even help that much. He'd have to grow like 9 inches for it to make a difference. Regardless, it leaves like another major conundrum. Do you trade Isaiah Thomas? You can't do it. It's just the wrongest thing ever. You can't trade the guy who has the single greatest playoff scoring performance in Celtics history, who's the heart and soul of the team, who is a lot of the reason you have the #1 overall pick. It's not like if you replace Isaiah Thomas with Markelle Fultz in like 3 years, all of a sudden you're going to be better than LeBron James's Cavs, even in 3 years. And it's also, in my opinion, not like if you trade the #1 overall pick for Jimmy Butler or Paul George, that you're all of a sudden still going to be able to contend with the Cavs. For one, Paul George, as we've mentioned, does not want to play for the Pacers. Now he's like subtweeting Bleacher Report, and all the speculation says like he obviously doesn't want to be in Indiana, and that's the management's fault, not Paul George's. What has the management done for them? Not much. But you can't gamble on trading for Paul George, because what if it doesn't work out and he goes, I'll walk in free agency in a year anyway? Well, then you lost Fultz and you lost Paul George. Secondly, you can make a deal for Jimmy Butler. That's a little bit safer. And look, Jimmy Butler's made the second team this year, so if you could trade the #1 overall pick for an All-NBA second-team player, that actually might be it should be a fair swap. But look at most of those drafted #1 overall in the last 7 to 10 years. A lot of those names have made All-NBA teams. Kyrie Irving. Did Blake Griffin make an All-NBA team? I think he did. All-NBA team for Blake Griffin. Anthony Davis on the All-NBA first team this year. And we don't know what's going to come from Ben Simmons and the likes of Andrew Wiggins. And it's possible, I think Andrew Wiggins will make an All-NBA team in his future, at least in the scoring position. So it's tough, but you can't feel bad for Celtics fans. It's like they have the greatest gift you can ask for. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals, even though they're going to get absolutely crushed. I'm sorry, Corey is sitting right here, and he's going to probably stop hitting record. It's going to be a bloodbath. It already is a bloodbath, but it's not. Maybe they get one. Regardless, before I ramble, keep the #1 pick. Keep the #1 overall pick. I don't think they should trade it. It's just my opinion. I think Markelle Fultz is the real deal. I think that the fact that you are in the conference finals now, and in 5 years you could have the potential All-NBA player, while all those other guys you're thinking about trading for hit 33, 34 years old, it's just better for the future. And I know the Celtics fans are probably thinking the future, like we've been building for the future for 5 years. Do we want to wait another 5 years to contend? As long as LeBron James is playing basketball, nobody in the Eastern Conference is contending. As long as he's there. It's like the Warriors in the West. As long as the Warriors are playing basketball and they injure their opponent's players, No one's getting through the Warriors in the West. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's kind of true, though. It's kind of true. So there you go. Should they trade the number 1 overall pick? No. But, man, is draft night going to be fun. It's going to be a shit show. Markelle Fultz could get like 4 different phone calls for all we know. He'll be in the waiting room or in the room. You've been drafted by the Celtics. You've been traded to the Sixers. The Sixers traded for the number 1 overall pick. You're going to the Pacers, and now you're playing with Lonzo Ball and the Lakers. All of a sudden, we'll be like, holy shit, what just happened? The Lakers are in an interesting position, too. Almost the same exact position, minus the conference finals part of it, because they have D'Angelo Russell, and when you draft Lonzo Ball, you could make D'Angelo a 2, and that leaves someone like Jordan Clarkson obviously going to probably try to walk or get traded, sign somewhere in free agency. I'm not sure if he's a free agent this year or not. Or D'Angelo Russell seems like the more worthy package for a team. And there are reports that the second the Lakers got the number 2 overall pick and everyone's like, well, Lonzo Ball's a Laker now, teams started calling about D'Angelo Russell. So this offseason is going to be hectic. It's not going to be summed up by one major player's move like Kevin Durant last year. It's going to be summed up by a lot of different movements. And really, it's going to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm thinking. Think of thought bubbles, Ja'Cory. Give me a word. Any word. Think of a word. Peanut butter. All the peanut butter is going to be about who stays.